Ever wonder exactly what your pilot see during the most critical phase of flights? In this video from Aviation, Accidents and Insights, step directly into the cockpit of an Airbus A320. Experience the entire takeoff sequence as a witness from the pilot's seat, from the initial throttle push and one-way alignment of the exact moment of rotation and climb. Gain a unique look into the flight deck, situational awareness, windshield visibility, and cockpit dimension during takeoff. Disclaimer: this footage is for educational, informational, aviation enthusiast viewing purposes, and afterwards I will come back and give you my commentary. And once again, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another episode of Aviation, Accidents and Insights. And I'm your host, John Chad. Preparing for takeoff, so momentarily we'll be taxiing down the runway. So if you ever wonder what your pilot sees, this is the right place and the right channel. Ask you to support the channel by subscribing, liking, and feel free to leave a comment below. We're going to be in the air momentarily.
Left side clear.
And we're going to be beginning our taxi to the runway, where we're going to be preparing for takeoff.
Left side clear.
And once again, I do welcome you back to another episode of Aviation, Accidents, and Insights. Again, I'm your host, John Chad.
wind 29 degrees, 15 knots, runway 27, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff, runway 27.
Runway 257, we are cleared for takeoff. Once the aircraft reach V1, it's point of no return. Looks like we got positive climb. Gear up. And we are in the air. The aircraft should climb to about 36,000 feet before she begin to level off. The story behind the administrative cockpit perspective of a commercial airliner takeoff centers on the complex, highly choreographed sequence of events that occur inside the flight deck of an Airbus A320. From the pilot seats, a routine takeoff is a careful balance of high-speed visual tracking, computer monitoring, and strict crew coordination. Phase 1, the lineup and visual picture. As the aircraft clears the holding point and is given takeoff clearance by air traffic control, the pilots fly taxiing onto the runway. Center line sees an expansive view of the asphalt stretching ahead. From the flight deck, the primary focus shifts between distant horizon and the preliminary flight display, PFD. The pilot places their hand on the thrust levels, ensuring the nose is completely straight before starting the roll. Phase 2, power application and the roll. Once aligned, the pilot advances the thrust level to the LX, flex, reduced thrust, or TOGA, takeoff for around detent. Sensation, the two engines rapidly spools up creating a prominent surge or forward momentum. The instrument scanned. The pilot's eyes rapidly glanced at the engine's /warning display, E-WD, to confirm that N1 ERP speeds are stabilizing normally, sympathetic, meeting target parameters. The corrections. Because the A320 uses a digital fly-by-wire system, pilot used subtle side sticks and rudder pedals input to counteract with crosswind, keeping the aircraft perfectly locked to the center line. Phase 3, the call-out of rotation. As the aircraft accelerates past 80 knots, the pilot monitors call-out 80 knots to verify that both the captain's and the first captain airspeed indicators match. As the speed aggressively approach 130 to 150 knots, depending on the aircraft weight, the pilot monitors call-out V1, the critical go, no-go pad, which takeoff can no longer be safely avoided. Seconds later, the call out to rotate is given. The pilot, flying smoothly, pulls back on the side stick. From the pilot's seat, the consecrated runway rapids drops, replaced entirely by the sky, and the nose pitch up to the approximately 15 degrees, smoothly climbing out into the atmosphere. This extreme time pressure significantly elevated the crew's workload before they even left the gate. The wrong turn in the dark at 22:03 local time under dark night condition. Air traffic control cleared the A320neo for takeoff from runway 07R, the taxi aircraft along the outer taxiway. However, instead of continuing to the official runway holding point, Charlie 6, the captain made a premature turn into taxiway E1 because wide taxiway can visually mimic a runway at night. The crew misidentified the paved surface, aligned the nose, and advanced the thrust level to full takeoff power. The 127-knot wake-up call as the engine spooled up. The Airbus rapidly accelerated down the continuous taxiway path, E1 transitioning into a Fox 2 and Victor 1 from the pilot's seats. The visual clue break down as the aircraft gained speed. The turning point came after the aircraft reached 127 knots, roughly 146 knots at the standard 100 knot. Cross-check, the crew noticed the environment was wrong. Taxiway Victor 1 was now narrowing in a construction fence loom ahead. First officer spotted the arrow urgently, stop, near the fuel phone. The captain immediately initiated a high-speed rejected tech RTO, jamming on the brakes and deploying a full thrust reversal. The heavy braking successfully brought the 152 passenger jet to a complete stop on the paved surface at the intersection of taxiway V1 and C1. The aircraft came to a halt just short of the airport massive aviation fuel storage tank in construction zone. No one was injured in the aircraft, surface zero damage, but the event was officially classified as a serious incident by the Belgium Accident Investigation Unit, AAIU, And so that's going to do it for this episode of Aviation, Accidents, and Insights. Again, I'm your host, John Shack, and we do hope you enjoyed this presentation of what pilots actually see in cockpit during golf. We ask if you would to support the channel, simply liking, sharing, and subscribing. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And we see you again in the next takeoff.